My coach, my freshman coach, was John Rinka. When Pistol Pete scored his 3,000th point on a Friday, Rinks scored his 3,000th point on a Sunday. Okay, he is built like you, and looks. I tell you, he's in North Carolina. He's been a teacher for many years, and he also. So you look like you could shoot from distance. Am I right?
Some days when the elbows is feeling
Yeah,
good.
elbows for sure. I grew up in the Bronx. If you can't stop them, chop them. That was the motto.
That's the old days.
That's the old days. So
Just like I deal with every day.
Lakers. Oh, him?
Yeah.
We hate the Lakers.
Hey, that's all right.
Okay. Oh, you're a Laker fan?
I'm a true Laker fan.
Oh, all right. So
Everybody got to be jealous of something.
okay. How long have you been a Laker fan?
From
How long have you had this problem?
I've been a Laker fan since early '80s. Since about '82, Jamal Wilkes.
Okay.
When they first drafted Magic.
Yeah.
Showtime.
You
I
remember
went
that?
through that.
You remember they drafted him that
Which they shouldn't have got.
when he was a freshman,
Right.
championship game, played
A
center,
true champion.
played center
And
as a
played
rookie.
ball.
42 points. What was his line that day?
I can't call that.
Kareem was hurt.
Oh, when Kareem couldn't make it in the Final Four,
Yeah.
he was hurt. He had to come out and do
He
that.
played center. Magic.
That's how we do it. Play for one team and then jump around.
Yeah, yeah. Well, back then people were a little more loyal.
Even today, Kobe just stayed with one team.
Yeah, Kobe was.
Nobody else won them.
Yeah.
Nobody else could afford it.
So,
But he'll have to jump around and chase championships. He built them on his own.
Coach, how long have you been here?
This is my end of my second year.
Really? And how about before? Where were you?
I was at Charles Drew High School
Mhm.
for 6 years.
Mhm.
Played in the state championship over there.
Right.
Went to North Atlanta 1 year,
Mhm.
and then prior to that, I was at Riverdale and came from Alabama. I was coaching in Alabama.
Really? So you've been a coach for a while.
Yeah, about a total now of 15 years.
Wow. And when you came here, did you know Oliver, or you didn't?
I did not know
Mm-hmm.
until one day our first encounter ended up with a little argument.
Oh, I want to hear about this argument. The first time you,
First time I met him.
I want to hear.
He threw shots at me.
So this
out of
is
the back.
Coach Davis, and your first name is?
Gerard.
Gerard Davis, coach of the school for the last 2 years, sitting with Officer Taylor, who you didn't know had game in the past?
I didn't know until he made sure I knew when he showed it.
So
on
I want to
YouTube.
hear, how did he let you know?
No, I'm going to intervene on this.
Okay, fine.
When he stepped into school, and students call it haterade.
The what?
Haterade. Not Gatorade, haterade.
Haterade.
Hate a certain individual like LeBron James.
Yeah.
And we got in a conflict of disagreement about the Warriors
Mm-hmm.
versus the Cavaliers.
Okay.
And of course, when Kyrie Irving got hurt, Kevin Love went down. Of course, Cleveland Cavaliers lost
Yeah.
in Game 6.
Right.
And Coach Davis made sure I knew about it all summer, all following year.
The only reason they lost because of the injuries, is what you were saying.
Yeah, but he said because of LeBron James. So hopping, doing that, because what he decided to do is nothing illegal. He
Never
opted
said
out his
nothing.
contract.
I said nothing
He
was
opted out
ever
his
illegal.
contract, and he just went to Miami, like going to college.
Chasing a
Went
championship.
to Miami, chased up, won a championship, then came
Like
back.
you were just about to say, chasing a
Okay,
championship. Chasing
but
ring.
no matter how you said it, last year they played when Cleveland went down 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
I heard from Mr. Davis every day. Oh, it's over.
No, I never said it was
no,
over.
No. He said it was over. Then it was 3-3. I didn't hear from him when Cleveland won the next two.
Mm-hmm.
But I give him one credit. When Cleveland won the championship, all he sent me was, congratulations, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't no, oh, LeBron ain't this, LeBron ain't that. He's a crybaby, he this. And we go back and forth to it.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of him being a coach, mentor to these kids, a good man. I'm gonna give you more credit because we're on camera. We'll talk about this later on. But in terms of the kids, he's actually a true mentor. He's the old school coach.
Mm-hmm.
He's a coach when kids make decisions or make bad choices. He get on them.
Mm-hmm.
Basically how PJ was and how my coach was growing up in college.
Mm-hmm.
Something that these kids at one point didn't have.
Mm-hmm.
And I think kids has to have some type of authority in their life to have somebody to follow
Mm-hmm.
in order to be successful, because whenever they're going to court and do whatever they want, and they look at the coach and they way back, or teach anything that happened, if they don't have that figure in front of them
Mm-hmm.
where there's leadership to follow, then I think they won't be successful.
And you feel they have that with the
But
coach?
Definitely got that with the coach.
That's
Definitely,
great.
I'll tell you that right now, definitely. Condition-wise, getting them in position, in a situation to win. Even if they don't follow through on it, you know, it's all about working as a team to be successful.
They were
Not one
27-9 this year, right? Something like that.
17-8.
17-8. That's
The last 2 years we won 17 games each year. But back to Deputy Taylor
okay. Back to the
and to our whole. Let me give you the real
yeah.
analogy of what happened.
Yeah.
I was introduced
Yeah.
as the basketball coach, and they said, "Hey, let me introduce you to our deputy that's here at school resource." I said, "Fine." Shook his hand. So me and Wilkes was, "Hey, we and Wilkes have something in common." That was just our AD. Hey, we're both Lakers fans, and I get, oh man. Then you go in talking about one of the best players in NBA history, which is Kobe Bryant, and then it went on to there. Yes, Golden State beat Cleveland last year.
No, actually, year before that.
Year before, like, they beat them last year until the NBA decided that Cleveland wanted to win. So, like I had to break it. Like I had to break it.
LeBron ran down Iguodala, blocked the shot, hit a three-pointer.
By the way, at that point, up to that shot, both teams had scored in the 6 games, and at that game, the equal number of points. It was even.
But then,
right?
like I told them, like I had to break it down to him. Where did the NBA make more money at? Would they have made more money with Golden State winning, or would they have made more money with Cleveland winning in merchandising?
I look at it like this: being even an ex-athlete, NBA can say what they want. You got to play the game on the court. I believe Cleveland would have won the year before if Kevin Love and them didn't get hurt. I personally believe that LeBron took them to the brinks.
You think
By
this
himself.
year they're going to win again?
Oh yeah, of course. I'm a Cleveland fan. Of course.
Are you a Cleveland fan or LeBron fan?
LeBron fan. I'm a Cleveland.
Thank you. So that's the difference. I'm a Lakers fan, regardless of whoever I have, and we have followed our hard times, and we deal with it. We deal with it.
We're still
But
playing.
I'm gonna still stay a Lakers
Okay,
fan. But
okay.
you got to be a LeBron fan. You're an individual
I'm a
fan.
Cleveland fan.
I'm a team
So, what,
fan.
Coach, what you're
This
saying
season's over.
is that this man over here is a front runner. He follows a guy who wants to
That's
win.
it.
Like, he's
That's
not a
it.
team guy. He's
a
a
deputy.
he's
He-
looking
that's
for
it.
yeah.
He like LeBron. Who, by far, what I would say is one of the best players on the planet. I will give him that credit.
No, the best player. Not one.
One of.
The best player.
So, and this is our daily routine.
Okay, so you
We will check in, especially around this time of the year.
Yeah.
He's gonna make sure when they win, he's gonna let me know they won. But that's fine. I don't have any comeback right now. I probably won't have it for a couple of years.
Oh yeah.
maybe more
But
than a
that's
couple
fine.
of years.
It won't be a couple of years now.
I'll tell you
Just give
something.
us watch what we do this summer,
Okay.
and we'll go forward.
They had a lot of good picks, the Lakers, over the last 5 years, and they didn't turn out.
I don't like a lot of
Randall,
picks.
you know, no, I'm saying he could have been, right?
I don't think he has that.
Yeah.
I just think the era has changed. Players has got to a point in their life where it doesn't matter where they go, they're going to compete at the highest level. And at that point, Lakers can't buy no more championships.
Yeah.
That's
They
what
can't buy
Cleveland
no more
just
money.
did.
Can't do it.
Cleveland just did.
With who?
They bought it with LeBron.
no, they
LeBron,
bought it with LeBron.
LeBron cried. He
LeBron.
went and got some more players that he
But who they
needed.
buy?
No,
So-
let me tell you something.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Look at the
How old,
NBA
Coach? How old are
history.
you?
I'm 48.
Listen
So
to
I
this.
got you about 14 years. When Red was the Celtics.
Right.
And he trained me, by the way. That's how whatever. When the Lakers used to play the Celtics back then, the team that would bring in a Michael Thompson at the end won the championship. So I know you're saying the political moves is really what's governing a lot. And I don't think you disagree with that, Oliver, that like bringing in a Channing Frye, bringing in a Frye, bringing in a Korver, bringing in guys makes that 4 through 8 an important thing in a championship because they may win one game and that's out of 7. That's all you need.
Yeah, but I don't even.
You don't think
I don't
of-
think it's even that. I'm look at the Lakers' overall package. Like even now, like the Knicks. Knicks is always a bottom team until draft day come in and get Patrick Ewing. Houston was the same thing with Olajuwon and turn around and get Washington Sampson. Everybody.
Cleveland until they got
Cleveland
LeBron.
had nobody. LeBron got there and carried the team.
Well, they had Kyrie.
No. After,
Before.
but
And
yeah,
before they had
This
Kyrie.
is what Lakers do.
Well, they also had that number 1 pick that they traded for Love,
But this is what they do.
right?
Right.
So that's part of the reason he went.
Yeah, correct. But
That
this-
was-
But
yeah.
on top of that, look at the Lakers. You got a team that's already a playoff bound. Playoff team, playoff before. 4 All-Stars on that team. the following year you get the #1 pick to get Magic. Like, that's unheard of. You don't get the #1 pick.
Well, you know
to
how
get
they
that.
got that pick.
But then on
They
top of that,
traded for Don Ford. Do you remember
Thank
that?
you.
Nobody.
Are you impressed?
No,
I
there's
know.
nobody. To get
But
Magic.
they used the assets they
To
have.
get Magic.
So you telling me
Now turn around. How in the world?
Well, they had Worthy.
Yeah, they had Worthy. They had Mike Cooper.
Worthy
How
came
they
2
get
years
Shaq?
later.
But Cooper was not
How
what
did-
he
no,
became.
No. How did they
Worthy
get Shaq?
came 2 years later.
How did they
Cooper
get Shaq?
came after
Worthy
Worthy.
came 2 years
No, they
later.
came 2 years later.
Yes, he
No, they
did.
not.
Worthy played 82 with the
How'd he
national
get
championship
Shaq?
with Jordan. He
How'd
was
he
on
get
he
Shaq?
was on North Carolina 92 championship,
How did he get
82
Shaq?
championship.
You're saying- no, you're saying-
I mean, I know what you're saying.
Right.
But how did he get Shaq?
He was a
Lakers.
free agent.
How did he get Shaq?
He was a free
Free
agent.
agent.
They buy the best.
He was a
players
free
they
agent.
get. Like this
So how
time-
did what did Cleveland do to get LeBron James? Because he didn't go back for
No, they
nothing.
drafted.
Cleveland,
No,
he
he
went
went
back
back
to. Did he go back to Cleveland for value?
No, what I'm saying to
Did
you.
he go back to Cleveland for
That's what I'm
value?
saying to you.
I'm just asking a question.
He went back home.
Did he go back for a value?
Shaq, that's not Shaq home. How did the Lakers get Shaq? I know free agent. They buy him. They give him what they want. Give him anything you want. L.A., Hollywood, this is yours. They buy the players. They have them nowadays.
So how
you
did Golden
can't buy
State?
them no more.
How
You
did
gotta
Golden
buy them.
State get Durant? Contract.
Get who?
Get Durant.
Yeah, no. Because,
Contract.
No, because what happened is.
How did Toronto keep the shooter,
DeRozan,
DeRozan?
who's not such a shooter these days.
But he got what? He got paid.
No.
LeBron didn't go back for peanuts.
Yeah, he did. LeBron still opted out his contract to this year.
And so when he opted out this year,
He just went, if he opted out, he went back this year. No matter how
so
he went
so
back.
if he said I'm ready to opt out and go somewhere
My
else,
whole
you're gonna
thing
be
is- My whole thing is this. The Lakers, when they were trying to get Carmelo Anthony, when they brought him all the way out to L.A., show him, entice him, try to get him to go there. And the last minute, he decided to stay in New York. L.A. is a place that anybody would love to live out there. Warm weather, beach, Hall of Fame, Walk of Fame, Hollywood. Think about it,
So,
Hollywood.
so what you're saying, he's
It's hard to
a
get people to go to
fan
Cleveland
of a team that.
that can buy what they want.
So
They
you
do
don't
it all the
you
time.
don't think it's a good thing to be a fan of that team, even though he's saying your guy they bought. He's saying the reason you don't like him being a Laker fan
They brought
goes
him.
against the
They
reason
brought-
you
they
like
brought him.
LeBron.
They brought him.
I've
Am I
been a
right?
Laker
Let me
fan.
ask you a question. If you had a choice right now, and I can ask anybody here, would y'all rather live in Boston or would you rather live in LA? Thank you. Would you rather live in Cleveland or would you rather live in LA? Nobody wants to go to Cleveland.
I'm missing your analogy.
That's you. You always miss everything I say. But LeBron brought people to play with him. It's not about where you living at. You got enough money to live wherever you want. But for this,
So I'm gonna ask
season,
you a question.
I'm gonna bring you to my town, and we're just gonna win championships.
So can I ask
wanna
you
win,
this?
play with me, 'cause I'm gonna give you the ball.
I'm gonna ask you this
Now, the
question.
Laker problem
See, this is what
they had
this is our
Kobe.
conversation
They
go.
had
He
Kobe.
never won't let
You
me
know,
in.
They had Kobe.
So
At the
you
time,
know,
a great
this is
player.
the guy who
I can't do it.
He's just like he was in the Big East. He's that guy. I want it in my hands. I'm going to make sure I control the whole situation.
well, but they won.
But he did.
But they
and
won.
I give him his credit when he's right. But what he failed to realize prior to LeBron leaving Cleveland and going to Miami where he won his first championship, who did he bring in then?
LeBron bring nobody in.
Thank you. That's my point.
Nobody he bring.
And he didn't. And what did he do with it?
You talking about we took the
What did he
team
do
to
with
the
it
finals?
prior to that? He went to finals, what, 3 times?
When?
When he was at Cleveland before he went to Miami.
No, one time.
1 time. Lost. Went to Miami where he was supposed to be on championship after championship after championship after
I
championship.
won 24.
That's
Once a champion, always a champion, I thought.
so I'm missing your point. Like when he go where he buy. We went to
Nobody-
Miami. He was
nobody brought him.
he was
Nobody brought him.
bought. So he was bought in Miami.
No, he didn't buy mine. A lot of players took less.
Yes,
Went to Miami.
the other 2 took less.
Exactly. He took less.
He took the most.
So let me ask, do you guys, other than having this endless argument, do you ever talk about the kids and work
Of course.
together? No, I'm kidding. I mean, do you
No.
get insights from him about one of the kids that may? Well, you have guys on your team. They probably. Well, I'm sure they have different family backgrounds with different issues, right? That you have to be aware of. Do you coordinate?
Well, the good thing about having him as an asset here, he's a good sounding board. After certain games, he's able to give me insight on certain things I did.
Mm-hmm.
I always listen to his perspective because he's been at the highest level. At this point in time, when he played in the Big East was one of the
They
premier
were.
conferences in the nation.
Right.
Nobody could touch him.
Yeah.
And for you to excel at that level, you have to have some knowledge.
Mm.
And so quite often we'll debate and go at each other about this all day, but when we get down talking about these kids and certain things, he'll always give me insight. Sometimes when it's been a rough game, sometimes he's the last one in the gym talking with me about it.
Really.
He'll give me, hey, he never came at me and said, you should have did this, should have did this. He said, well, he'll listen, then he'll give me his insight. 9 times out of 10, his insight is a good one. And so with a guy like this, you want to take that knowledge and you allow him to show it to kids. And the way a lot of kids now didn't realize about the Big East and how it used to be. And so when he's able to tell his story to his kids and tell them that he came from the premier conferences in the country with the Ewings, with the Connecticuts, with the Syracuse, with all the Seton Halls, the Villanovas, the St. John.
When it meant something.
Yeah.
Well, nowadays
Well, it
these
was
are
a
pretty
battle.
good things now.
They're coming back around, but I still don't think the Big East is like what it was because that court, when they was 8 teams, when you walked into that
How many
basketball
pros
game,
came from? Good pros.
and you look at the draft during those period of time,
Yeah.
you had at least 8.
Right.
Or in the top 28,
That's
you had
right.
8 of them that's gone.
Final Four was all Big
You
East.
always
one
had
year,
a Big East.
right?
1 year you had 3 teams
3
in there.
teams. Yeah.
And so you can gain knowledge and connect that to today's society. These athletes, we talk about all the time, that these kids, we can live in these kids' generation, but these kids will be a hard time trying to live in ours.
Yeah.
Where you get up in the morning and you go from park to park to rec to court just to play outside.
Right.
So, and that's the difference. And you have some hands-on at piece that you can hear. It's like you listening to a book, a vintage book, and you have it living and breathing right here in front of
Do
you.
you feel the kids, well, appreciate is one question. Do you feel that they've grown in their ability to hear not just a great coach's experience and articulation, but given Oliver's background and what he does, do they see the big picture that it's not just the sport, but look at the people you've both become? Because at the end of the day, they know you want them to be
And I think
big
that's
people,
a difference. And
not
I think
just ball players.
that's a huge difference because now you look at these kids nowadays look at instant gratification.
Yeah.
If it's not right now, what do I have to look forward to? I look at, and I'm never blaming somebody like the Currys, like the Roys, like the kids you see today on TV. It's different. Whereas they never had to truly grind at their skill. Where these kids growing up then, and you can attest to this, back in the day, they would travel to 5-star all over.
Yeah.
Where you had to meet with Garth, and you had to go through that gauntlet of going to 5-star camp, and you playing outside on courts all day and all night, and then sleeping for a couple hours, get up and do it over and over again.
Right.
I don't think these kids have that type of mentality to do it. Whereas now they want the inside gym, the cozy comfort. And when you're able to hear that side of saying, this, what do you mean? When you go back and show them evidence of it, then you can draw them in. And so these kids are more facts. You got to see something for them to believe into something. And that's the difference. Where when we were growing up, your coach, you hung on every word.
Absolutely.
You hung on every word because it wasn't
When
there.
Red Auerbach would speak.
and like
I mean,
I'm
he wasn't
saying-
even my coach, but he was Red Auerbach.
Right. We didn't we can go to YouTube and pull up different games or drills. Our coaches had our drills and everything was. We couldn't go on social media and look at this kid across the country. If we saw him, we had to pay him in a camp. We developed that skill from there. And that's the difference. And with insight, and you can hear from one person and it sounds okay, but when you constantly hear through several other different people, somebody who's been there, then you got to show them, like, this is where I play. This, can you make it to this level? And then you get that question. Then what he started to get is, how did you get there? And once you get that part, that's when you know you got them interested. You got for real athletes. You got somebody that's caring about how did you get out of your situation to be where you are. And that's the difference nowadays with these kids. You got to get them to understand that it can be done in steps. But you can't jump from
You know,
step
it's funny,
A.
Oliver and I were talking last night. This is the same theme over and over in the world.
It is.
How do you deal with a time-challenged world and instant world to teach them that you have to spend a lot of dribbles to get in your life.
You're right.
I don't have an answer. I mean, we come from different generations. This is all we knew.
Right.
So how do you deal with this is something, it's a worldwide thing.
Teachers, please step to your doors for transition.
Yeah.
All teachers and sub-teachers to your doors for transition.
So Coach has to leave, but I'm going to ask him to give some parting words. He's got to actually go out and work, parting words on how he sees being able to influence these kids given the challenges of attention span.
Well, in today's society, as you know, we got so many adversities against us with social media, good and bad. So we have to be able to connect their attention one way or the other. My tool is through basketball. And so we're able to gather their attention. The same thing with Deputy Taylor. His is life experience. He's able to connect to them and teach them and reach them in different avenues and different ways a lot of other people don't do.
And you must find it an incredible asset.
Hey, it's a great tool that you want to emulate. And so a lot of things he do, and sometimes he helps me with a lot of things. And that's the great asset.
Yeah.
And that's one of the best things I can take away from it. It's been a blessing to be in his country. We go at it.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing.
Listen,
That's a good thing.
That's part of our game. You know, it's going at it.
Well, you got good basketball people. They're going to always challenge each other.
Always.
You never can get away with the last word.
Right.
And that's the thing. And our kids need that.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes everything is done through texting, but now you need to know how to sit down and have a conversation to agree
Yeah.
to disagree.
Yeah.
And that's the good thing to me about it.
It's great, Coach. Anyway, I'm grateful that I've had the time to get to meet and listen to the new coach. And it's been an incredible day listening to kids that have been influenced by Oliver. And now I see another coach that Oliver did tell me about. He said, this coach is amazing. I'm telling you, he's not here. He did talk behind your back and said, they got one that's amazing. And this is not so simple from his background.
Right. So you get those type of
Yeah,
accolades.
you should know that. But you still go at it with him when you see him.
Always.
Okay, fine. And anyway, so it's been a pleasure being here, and I look forward to sharing this gift of seeing how one person can influence so many people with so many listeners, and we will be back in the future.